This week I made $818 on options. Stay around. I'm going to walk you through every trade and then show you my full weekly performance breakdown in my analyzer tool. But first, let's see what happened in the market the last 5 days. This week on US markets, records broken, then records broken again, just not in a good way. Monday through Thursday, stocks rode the AI wave to all-time highs. The Dow even touched 50,000. Cisco earnings helped, and the Trump-Xi summit in Beijing calmed trade nerves. Then Friday came. S&P down 1.2%, Dow off 537 points, Nasdaq down 1.5%, all from records set the day before. What happened? Oil. Brent crude surged past $109. The Iran war drags on. The Strait of Hormuz is still blocked and inflation fears came roaring back. The 30-year Treasury yield hit a near 20-year high. AI stocks led the selloff. Nvidia down 4.4%, Micron off 6.6%. Gold and Bitcoin both fell. The VIX spiked almost 7%. Bottom line, the AI rally hit a wall of oil-driven inflation. Next week tells us if it bounces or cracks. Now, diving in my performance for the last week. As you can see, my portfolio gained about 2.1% last week due to stock gains and realized options gains. We are beating the SPX, which was almost flat for the week, with a modest gain of 0.3%. My year-to-date performance is looking pretty strong still, at 29.8% gain, so I'm pretty happy about that so far. My Google shares were finally called away at the strike of 360, and as mentioned last week, I already started selling puts to get back the Google shares. Once assigned, I plan to keep them for now without selling covered calls. Rocket Lab also doing very strong after earnings and continuing. Now let me pull up my analyzer so you can see how the week looked overall. This tool lets me import and analyze my options trading activity from interactive brokers and easily calculate the profits so I can better track how my options trading is doing, separately from the stock performance. As you can see, for the last week, we realized a profit of $818 before commissions. That is a gain of about 1.2% on my portfolio coming from the options trading. I had 2 trades in total and 2 wins, 0 losses. I paid $51 in commissions. Next, we see a new section popping next to options trading, which is the stock trading. This because my Google shares were called away realizing the profit. Therefore, it's showing here as stock trading. Moving on, checking in the portfolio summary section, we can of course see that the biggest win, which was Google. Second is our SPX Iron Condor, which this week also printed nicely with $550 profit. And last but not least, Rocket Lab with ticker RKLB with $268 profit. Now getting into more details about my trades, here in the performance by ticker section, we can see more information about each trade. For Google, you see that on Friday, 15th of May, this position was closed realizing a profit of $5,334. If I remember correctly, the cost basis for Google was $311. For Rocket Lab, I closed the previous put and opened a new cash-secured put, which expires on the 5th of June. Here also, the premium was reinvested into the shares of this company. Because Rocket Lab ran so much lately, I closed early the put at the strike of $71 and opened the new one at the strike of $101. It's a joy to see when your stock pick does so good. Last trade was the SPX Iron Condor, which I also executed on Friday. Was a bit risky as the market was going down a lot, but everything went well on that too. Let's see what next week brings me. Speaking of which, going into the next week, looking forward for my Google shares to be assigned again as they are my long-term bet for the AI narrative. If you are wondering what approach I'm using on my portfolio, you can check my week 1 video where I explain the strategies I'm using in more details. If you find this interesting, hit subscribe and I will see you next week. Until then.